Good morning. It's Friday morning, and welcome back to Morning Medication. We are in the first chapter of James, and we're reading verses 19 to 21 today. Understand this, my beloved brethren. Let every man be quick to hear, a ready listener, slow to speak, slow to take offense, and to get angry. For a man's anger does not promote the righteousness God wishes and requires. So get rid of all uncleanness and the rampant outgrowth of wickedness, and in a humble, gentle, modest spirit, receive and welcome the word which, implanted and rooted in your hearts, contains the power to save your soul. Quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to take offense and to get angry. I must confess that I have spent a large proportion of communication reflecting on my response or defense before the speaker is finished with what they're saying. I can't be the only one who's guilty of this, right? So quick to hear. Do we stop and give the speaker our full attention as much as that situation allows? Are we slow to speak? Do we really actively listen to the words and ideas being presented? Imagine someone sharing about their awful day or circumstance they're going through, and I confess again that there have been times when I was not quick to hear and slow to speak, but already contemplating my response on how my circumstance was a one up on theirs, or how I had my own response. I've probably missed many opportunities to stop and listen and offer to pray for various situations. I've sometimes come up with an immediate defense to the beginning of a conversation only to be told, hold on, I'm not done yet. That's not what I'm saying. But there is so much wisdom in these words of James, reminders to be ready listeners. Because when we begin to allow ourselves to be offended, this anger is not going to accomplish anything for God's purpose or his glory. We know that when Jesus taught about being able to identify a person's character in Luke 6:45, he is specific about our words and where they come from. For out of the overflow of the heart, the mouth speaks. In other words, the mouth is going to say what the heart is full of. There are times when the Lord speaks to me about words that come out of my mouth. And in the past, I was really struggling with saying nice, sweet words. Don't get me wrong, I still struggle, but I was frustrated because I would spend my time reading my Bible and have a daily quiet time. And I would go to church and I'd go to Bible study. But if that right situation came up, forget it. It was all lost. I had no control. There are so many verses in the Bible about how our words are so important, such as the power of life and death is in the tongue. My favorite, put a guard over my mouth that I might not sin against you. I felt I had enough good going on in my heart, but then God is not a liar. His word doesn't lie. If my mouth is not speaking love, my heart must not be full of the right stuff. I started looking at TV programs and podcasts and tried to replace them with better choices because whatever we are exposed to, whether we are hearing it, we see it, or we're socializing with it, this all enters into our hearts. Remember, we are to guard our hearts because out of it flows the wellspring of life. And James, verse 21, tells us to get rid of all uncleanness and the rampant outgrowth of wickedness. And we may think this little bit isn't going to hurt. But remember that a little yeast spreads through the whole loaf. We're told to receive and welcome the word which implants itself and takes root in our hearts and has the power to save our souls. We're living in a time where I know God has been pressing in my heart all or nothing. And though it often rubs against my flesh and what my flesh wants to do, I have to be obedient to what God is wanting me to do and what his word says. And I really hope today that you are encouraged to be quick to hear and listen. Slow down in your responses and fill up your heart with good things until it overflows. Have a wonderful weekend, and I hope to catch you back here on Monday.